What if the most dangerous game being played right now isn't a military standoff, but a game of words? China, Taiwan, and the shifting U.S. position, it's all in play. But here's the real question. Is China eyeing Taiwan as a pawn in a much larger geopolitical chess match, hoping that the U.S. under Trump might let it slip through the cracks? Stay with me, because this story is anything but straightforward. You're about to hear a side of the debate that doesn't often make the headlines. Now let's dig deeper. What's actually happening with Taiwan? The situation isn't as simple as China trying to take it. This isn't a one-off move. Taiwan's position in the larger global power struggle has been shifting for years. With China's economic and political power growing, they see Taiwan as an integral piece of their future. But that's not all. The U.S. has played a huge role in this, sometimes supportive, sometimes ambiguous. So what's at stake here? Is Taiwan just a piece of land, or is it the symbol of something far greater? The struggle between democracy and authoritarianism. The question isn't if this will change, but when? What happens if the world gets distracted and lets this slip through the cracks? You might think this is just another political debate, but let's look at the facts. China has made it clear Taiwan is not up for negotiation. The official stance? Taiwan is part of China. End of story. But here's the twist. China's efforts aren't just military. No, they're much more subtle. What if the real goal isn't to take Taiwan by force, but to win over its people? Just look at Hong Kong. In the past, they've managed to shift public opinion through a massive campaign, through pressure, fear, and manipulation. This isn't about buying Taiwan. It's about changing its heart and mind. Notice what they didn't deny: China's patience. They've shown it with Hong Kong, and now they're showing it with Taiwan. This isn't just a matter of land. It's a long-term game. Now, let's zoom out for a second. What we're seeing with Taiwan is no isolated event. It's part of a much bigger escalating trend. If we look back at the past few decades, China's approach to territorial claims has shifted dramatically. Remember Hong Kong? For years, the world was told everything would stay the same after the handover. But now, it's a completely different reality. Basic freedoms, once thought untouchable, are being erased. The free press is silenced. The promised one country, two systems has all but disappeared. And guess what? The more time passes, the more this approach seems normal. What's happening in Hong Kong is now the model, not the exception. If Taiwan faces the same fate, how long before the world starts questioning what's really left of its freedom? But the story doesn't stop there. The situation is becoming even more intense. The reality of how China is approaching Taiwan is becoming clearer, and it's not just about reunification, it's about control. Look at what happened in Hong Kong. Sham elections, the crushing of any opposition, a media blackout, and the forced loyalty to the Communist Party. This isn't just about Chinese sovereignty, it's about reshaping entire societies. Now apply that same playbook to Taiwan. What happens to the millions of Taiwanese who don't want to swear loyalty to Beijing? What happens when they're forced to choose between their democracy and the looming shadow of China's control? The contradiction here is glaring. China wants to bring Taiwan back into the fold, but only if they can completely reshape its identity. And that changes everything. Taiwan's sovereignty isn't just at risk, it's being rewritten. Now, things are escalating fast. Just look at the recent developments. Multiple factors are pushing Taiwan into a corner, and it's happening right under the radar. China's moves in Hong Kong are a preview of what's to come: new laws, tighter control, and zero tolerance for dissent. At the same time, China is doubling down on its propaganda campaign to convince the world that Taiwan is just a matter of time. Meanwhile, Taiwan's own government is under increasing pressure. And it doesn't stop there. International alliances are shifting too. The U.S. is distracted, focusing more on internal struggles than on Taiwan's future. The question is, what happens if this continues? What if this slow squeeze on Taiwan turns into something even more aggressive? The pressure is mounting, and we might be witnessing the calm before the storm. This isn't just a political game. This is real life. For the people of Taiwan, this situation has tangible consequences. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that your democracy, the system that allows you to choose your leaders, could be slipping away. You've lived with the freedom to vote, to protest, to speak your mind, but what happens if that starts to change? What happens when the government you've trusted for decades is no longer the one you recognize? This isn't about abstract concepts. It's about ordinary people who now find themselves in the middle of a geopolitical battle they never signed up for. If this feels familiar, say so in the comments, because this could be the future for more countries than just Taiwan. Let's step back and think about how this happens. It's not just about one country wanting control over another. It's about systems, incentives, and the relentless push for power. China's strategy isn't about brute force. It's about leveraging every angle: diplomacy, economic pressure, and yes, psychological warfare. What's happening in Hong Kong and what could happen in Taiwan is part of a larger playbook. It's about breaking down society's resistance, slowly stripping away the freedoms that make it unique. The media is silenced, the narrative is controlled, and any opposition is painted as a threat to the system. This is the machinery of power in motion. The terrifying part? The world's reaction has been tepid at best. The global system designed to prevent this kind of creeping control is failing. The question is, how much longer will it take for the world to wake up? So what happens next? The future of Taiwan is anything but certain. There are two paths ahead, each full of uncertainty. On one side, China could continue its slow and methodical approach, leveraging patience and strategic influence to wear down Taiwan's defenses. If Taiwan remains divided or distracted, the pressure could become too much. On the other side, the global reaction could shift. What if the U.S. and its allies finally draw a hard line, stepping up support for Taiwan? What if Taiwan's leadership, already under fire, makes a stand that ignites wider conflict? The next moves are already being set in motion, and the momentum is building. The window of opportunity is narrow, and every decision could tip the scales. In the end, this isn't just about Taiwan. It's about the future of global power, the fate of democracies, and the price of complacency. What we're seeing unfold is a warning shot. Taiwan's struggle is a reminder that when the world allows powerful forces to slowly chip away at freedom, no one is safe. The question isn't just how Taiwan will survive, it's how we all will. This story isn't over. The next chapter is already being written. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on global power shifts, make sure to follow and subscribe. This is just the beginning.